If you want your man to be obsessed with you, always think of yourself the way you would if you were single. Once you get in a relationship, you're constantly seeing yourself through the eyes of someone who's kind of used to you, especially if you've been in a relationship for years. It's almost impossible to remember who you are, what it felt like, because you're never in a situation anymore where people are hitting on you. Usually your charisma and your self-confidence is bouncing off of other people who are attracted to you and who are treating you like you're new. When are you going to do that when you're in a relationship? As hard as they try, they're never going to treat you and look at you the way that they did when they first met you. You have to remember yourself. To be honest, he should be making the effort to do that for you. If you need to, do it for yourself. You cannot focus on the things that he's doing that are making you feel unwanted or they're making you feel like you're not new anymore. The more you focus on that, the more you're going to act dull. You're going to be completely lacking confidence, and then the way you react to him is not going to be the way you were reacting to him when you first met.
Things I wish I had figured out about aging before I turned 50. Here we go. This is going to be a super unpopular list. I have no business handing them out because I did not institute these things myself until I was probably in my late 40s. But they do work, and I probably took a good 10 years off of the way that I look. And it is not going to be popular because it is not something that you can buy and apply on your face 5 minutes before you go to bed at night. There is no product out there that's going to do that for you. Number one, Botox. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if everybody is in the comments screaming at me like, no, I'm 45, I've never gotten anything done and I look fantastic. Bitch, you are lying. That is a full bald-faced lie. If you look young for your age and you are 45 and up, honey, you've had a facelift or you've had Botox. You do not need to do it preventatively when you are younger. That is a waste. It's sort of like people who talk about getting braces when you're 9 and getting them again when you're 13. It doesn't do anything different. You still have to have them at 13. Start doing it when you're in your mid-40s, when your face starts to wrinkle. Trust me when I tell you, it will be the best beauty investment that you ever make. Ditch the expensive creams, ditch all of that stuff. It doesn't work. It's all temporary. Number 2, don't drink alcohol. Like, if you want to age yourself faster, drink alcohol. That is the number one way to look old before your time. I know it's unpopular. I know everybody likes to drink. I even myself drink occasionally, but let me tell you how horrifying I look after just 2 drinks. It's so bad, and it takes literal days for me to get it out of my system. Number 3, it's costs nothing, but it's going to be super unpopular because it will cost you time. Exercise, exercise, exercise. It is nothing except reverse age you better than exercise. It makes your body look a full decade younger at least. It reverse ages your face, and it will reverse age your brain, which is probably the most important thing. And that's it. I'm sorry, I wish I could tell you that there was a magic potion or a cream that would work. There isn't.
Me being able to submit is not blindly because he's the man and therefore I'm submitting and I'm going to worship you because you're the man. It doesn't work that way. It works more a way that I see that you are very protective. You're a good provider. You're protective. You're smart. You're intelligent. You can make decisions without me having to kind of guide you all the way. As a result of your traits, I naturally want to submit. The key is women submit to men that they respect. So it's important to get their respect first, and how you get their respect is having a willingness to walk away when you are being highly disrespected and not allowing them a free pass to bad behavior simply because they look fantastic or simply because they're attached to you. Their behavior is causing the attachment, not you. You're not just blindly attached. When she has a great partner who she can submit to, she can finally relax in life. When she has a partner that she respects, he makes great decisions. He's very protective. He's not stupid. Like, she can't manipulate him. She can't lie to him. She's forced to be a better person. And she can also relax a little bit. When she has kids, she knows that she can trust him with some of the decision making. And she doesn't have to be in this mode where she's lying and hiding things. She can actually be her authentic self because this sounds like a cop-out, but I would honestly say selecting a very good partner is a lifelong therapy session. It really transforms you. I really see a lot of people who might be anxious and they've got this partner that's abusive, a bit neglectful and everything, and they're like coming to me to heal. And I said, I'm so sorry, but you have an hour a week with me. You have 24/7 with your partner who makes you feel unseen. You can soothe yourself, you can try and calm yourself, but I promise you the impact of a loving and consistent partner is something that if I could bottle it and sell it to you, I wish I could. But there's something about having a secure partner, which not many people, not everybody is, but I know it's really hard to find, but a secure partner who is happy to meet your needs, is happy to, help you heal, and you're doing the same for them. You both have the right intentions. That will act like, that will do more for you than any therapy session. I do agree you can self-soothe in certain ways, self-soothing, but part of self-soothing and part of self-esteem is good selection. So I could, if I'm working on my self-esteem, I'm taking, I'm going to the gym, I'm working out, I'm taking cold plunges, I'm doing all of this thing, I'm making money, I'm doing all of those things, but I'm choosing the wrong partner. Unfortunately, I won't heal the same way. So I do think selection is everything. Now, if you're already in that situation and you have selected a partner that is like this, then the key is still to work on yourself and enhance your self-esteem, but try and meet those core needs from not just that partner. Try and spread the core needs. If you have a bit of anxiety and your partner's not always available, they're a bit more avoidant, try and place some of your happiness in your friendships or in your parents or in your children. Try and delegate some of that connection. But human connection and healthy human connection is very, very powerful.
If my man would approach me today and tell me that he cheated on me, this is my reaction. Oh, okay. Well, with who? Interesting. All right. Do you have anything else to tell me? Because I gotta go. I'm booked in for Pilates. I'm sorry to tell you, ladies, but the damage is already done. He already put his into somebody else. So instead of crying, instead of becoming an emotional mess, handle your emotions and keep it together. The moment you're breaking down and having this huge emotional outburst, oh my God, how could you do this to me? You split our family apart. Our marriage is over. You are just giving him so much more emotional power over you. Do not cry. Do not complain. Instead, you're going to become ice cold. And save your tears for your therapist, for your girlfriends, for your family, because you got to process that shit, but not in front of him. Control your emotions. Do not react. Do not even flinch. Zip it and walk away. And never come back. If you are in a position where you cannot walk away from him, because I do understand that every woman has the privilege to walk away from a man. So if you're tied to him financially, you're married together, but he deeply hurt you and cheated on you, what you're going to do is to open the marriage. You're simply going to allow him to cheat. If you're so unhappy with our sex life and I cannot satisfy your needs anymore, go on, you're free. I'll let you go. Go off and have fun. But also, now that we have an agreement on being in an open marriage, obviously I can go on and do my thing too. Then watch what happens. Set him free, go and let him have fun. Because what you're doing is using reverse psychology and removing the threat, the mystery, the fantasy, and the desire for him to cheat in the first place all together. Because he wants to cheat because he's bored of the routine. He needs the mystery, the fantasy. He wants some sexual desire. He's not getting it with you, so he's looking for it elsewhere. Set him free. Give it to him. If you allow him to cheat, you're actually de-weaponizing the whole situation. It's going to leave your man confused as fuck because he's going to think, well, why is she so unbothered? Is she going to see other men as well? Why does she not care? Is she not emotionally invested into us anymore for her to not care about me being with another woman? And all of a sudden, he's the one sitting there anxious and confused, and you remained in power all along. But you can only do this if you actually take this advice and control your emotions. All of a sudden, you flip the script and watch this man come crawling back to you.
It's not that if he wanted to, he would. It's that if you wanted to, you would. If you wanted to find a man that treats you the way you want to be treated, you would. Ooh, but you didn't, did you? You're still staying with the same dipshit because you want him to change for you. You want him to do better, be a better man. And that's not because you're a good woman. It's because you're too scared to be alone so that you put the responsibility to change onto others. You see, the problem was never them. It has always been you.
So my dad said this when we were leaving lunch, and he said a woman wants to be wanted and a man wants to be needed. Or actually, a woman needs to be needed and a man needs to be wanted. Because think about it, as a woman, what will destroy your self-confidence in a relationship? If your man doesn't want you, doesn't want to romance you, doesn't want you physically, doesn't want anything to do with you, you will literally sit there and just be like, what the hell just happened? Why? You know? And for a man, it's if you don't need him. If you make a man feel like you don't need him, oh, I don't need you, I can do everything on my own, that you don't need anything from him, you don't need him to provide for you, to protect you, to open up the jar of pickles, it emasculates him. He will feel like he's this chair. And it's just not right. So I think even if you play the game, want her and need him, you do yourself a big service.
If you want more from a man, you have to do less for him. I know how that sounds, but I'm giving you the game, like for real. Listen, it's because of how men are wired. We are wired to invest in people and things we value. So when a woman does more for a man, she actually flips the script. She flips the value scale. And he begins to think he is the prize. He is the valued one because she's investing in him. So she loses her value. I mean, tell me the truth. Come on now. When you have given more or done more for a man, has he not done less for you? In fact, has he not neglected you? Yeah. Listen, I'm not saying not to do anything for a man. What I'm saying is, don't match what he does for you. Not until he puts a ring on your finger. Then you can renegotiate that contract.
You're a liar. If you're fat, it's because you're overeating. It's not because you have a thyroid problem. It's not because you have some kind of a disease. It's because you're eating too much. I already told you guys about the analogy. Did people in concentration camps, were they ever fat? No. Do you not see what I fucking damn mean? If you were to lock yourself in a fucking closet, do you think that you would gain weight? Like, do you see what a fucking liar you are? I cannot stand the delusion. Get the fuck off of my page with your delusional bullshit. I can't stand it and I will call you out. Bye. Okay.
Best parenting advice I can give you after being married 20 years and raising kids, put your couple first even before your kids. 3 tips. Number 1, this goes for both men and women. Don't decide your kids are your entire life. You need to make time for each other. There is no healthier child than a child who has been brought up by parents who love and respect each other, and no better example you can give. Women think that they're being good moms by never letting their babies out of their sight and so never going out. But husband and wife bonds need to be nurtured as well. 10, 20 years will pass and then you won't feel any connection with the person you're meant to spend the rest of your life with. Kids leave at some point and the house feels really empty when there's no love and bond, and honestly it's very detrimental. Women, don't ignore or neglect your husband, and men, take your wife out no matter how tired she is. Get a sitter or a family member. Remind her that she is a woman and that she is your wife even before she was the mom of your child. Staying with kids all day is tiring and a full-time job, and without that support, you wouldn't be able to go to work in peace. As your kids grow and they feel that love, that is the only security they'll ever need, and they will feel like they wanted life. When my kids were little and I stopped breastfeeding, my husband and I would take a lot of little trips alone just to reconnect. Reset, but it could be just a night and a drink. 2, don't start letting yourself go because you're married. Oh, I'm married now, I can gain 50 pounds, I can eat trash, wear torn underwear. No, you want your spouse to always be attracted to you. It doesn't end when you get married. It actually never ends. 3, there is no good cop, bad cop. There is only one cop, one house, one rule. Sometimes the cop is more lenient, sometimes the cop is strict. But you guys should always be on the same page, and that cop is both of you. You are a team, and especially in the children's eyes, your decisions are one and the same. Kids are very smart. They will know who to ask what from and how to pin you against each other. Stay on the same page and there will be harmony. Parents who have lost their bond, are overstressed, fighting, not on the same page, will most probably have kids that are very anxious and possibly be influenced in the wrong direction. But what you want to strive for are kids that are independent, most importantly, very confident, because they know where they came from and it's solid.
many men that in public, they might be very admirable, it might be very successful, whatever it is, but their private life is one that is shambolic, or one that they're embarrassed of, or they're ashamed of. They might be doing things privately that they're not proud of. You need to become a man that if there was a camera following you in private, you would have you would actually be proud of the things that you do in private. Whereas when you live a double life, the problem is you'll have to use your false self to attract a woman, and then she'll discover the real you and she'll leave. And you almost, are always tiptoeing around women because you know that if she knew the real you, she wouldn't be attracted. So the key is to become a person whose private self is congruent with their public self. And as a result, you'll be more attractive. I know that's a very vague answer, but essentially
What is the best advice you've ever heard or received?
I'll give you the sentence, and if you want me to explain it, I can, but everything is your fault.
Yeah, you can explain it.
Everything is your fault comes back to like you are the CEO of your life. My very first mentor that I had, I paid $500 a month to have my first coach when I was 19, about to turn 20. And we worked together for 2 years and we had some great calls. I don't remember any of them, I remember one. And what it was I had made so many excuses as to why I was late to calls, why I didn't hit my assignments, why I didn't do what I needed to do. And he had this really tough conversation with me, and he said, Rob, if a business succeeds, whose fault is it? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, if a business succeeds, all 1,000 employees move into the direction they have a successful year, whose fault is it? That the person who orchestrated, I was like, the CEO. He said, if a business fails, whose fault is it? And I said, the CEO. He said, Rob, if you get to the end of your life and it's not what you wanted it to be, and you didn't create the life that you wanted to, make the money that you wanted to, have the success, the love, the happiness, travel the places that you wanted to, whose fault would it be? And I said, it'd be my fault. And he said, if you did create the life that you wanted to, you had the love, the happiness, the abundance, everything that you wanted, whose fault would that be? And I said, it'd be my fault. And he said, the problem with you is you're treating this life as if you're the victim. And what you need to realize is that everything that happens to you is your fault, and that your life won't change until you decide that you want to be the CEO of your life.
She may say, you don't tell me enough that you love me. And he may say, my whole life is for you. I work every second for you. My every existence is for you. And she says, but you don't tell me the words, I love you. And he's saying, what do you need to know the words for? Don't you see my life? I gotta do more? And this couple could be married for 50 years, God bless. And there's a block. They could be talking, but they're missing something. Because the essence of communication is not what you say in the way you speak. The essence of communication is the humility to speak in the way that they hear it. When you can understand how somebody else hears something and speak, not in the way you speak, but in the way they listen, that is the way you can communicate. And you can have a couple, and they're wonderful, God bless them, their whole lives saying, I show you I love you by my action. And she's saying, I want to hear it in the words. And they will stand on ground until one of them says, I speak this way. But that's not communication. If I really want to communicate, I need to speak in the way you hear, not in the way that I speak.
Beauty is essential to be high value as a woman, not because I believe it, but because this is what men respond to. You take care of your appearance. But the main thing I would say to be a high value woman is always you have ability to reject attention. High value women can reject attention and verbal attention from men all day, every day. Compliments mean nothing. Attention means nothing because they look for something more valuable than that. And they know that talk is cheap. They have a really high selection process and you can't buy them through attention and money. So if you are a man who's such a mess and you've got no self-control, you've got nothing going on in your life, and you've got a beautiful woman, she's still not high value, because if she was truly high value, she wouldn't have selected you. Self-compassion is secondary to self-respect.
It's first.
To me. Loving myself might involve booking a vacation, going to a spa, and eating pizza in the evening. Respecting myself is understanding that those are actually self-indulgence. Better thing might be to do is to wake up early, go to the gym, eat no carbs for the day, and have no sugar and sleep early. That's not loving. I don't love doing those things, but I respect myself when I do the thing. And the reason why self-respect is so important to me, once we respect ourselves, we're able to respect others and only allow those that respect us into our lives. Self-compassion makes us not only compassionate for ourselves, it can then make me think, he's also had an abusive father and that's why he hits me, or she grew up in an unstable home and that's why she cheats on me. Self-compassion can lead to you mirroring that in others and making excuses for poor behavior. Self-respect leads to you mirroring self-respect in others and only allowing those that respect you in your life.
Okay.
Just let them. If they want to choose something or someone over you, let them if they want to go weeks without talking to you. Let them if they are okay with never seeing you. Let them if they are always putting themselves first.
Fascinating psychological tricks that actually work. Nod your head up and down slightly when you want someone to agree with what you are saying. If someone's angry, lower your voice down to a whisper so they can't hear you over their own BS. Generally, after a few moments, they adjust their volume to match yours subconsciously and calm down. Asking people to explain what they mean when they're being offensive is extremely effective, especially if there's an audience around. For example, if someone makes slightly sexist comment, ask them if they could please explain what they mean. They will feel ashamed. In a competitive environment, if you notice that your opponent is a beginner or showing signs of anxiety, ask them, are you nervous? While trying to act as nonchalant as possible. Even yawn if you can. They will be all fucked in the head. Then Franklin suggested that if someone seemed cold to you, ask them a small favor. I think he mentioned borrowing a book. After you return the book and were sufficiently appreciative, that person would likely be less cold. Cold in the future.
I didn't have fun because I thought I looked fat. It ruined my night, was as simple as that. Everyone else ate and drank, danced and laughed. I drowned in self-pity because I thought I looked fat. I didn't have fun because my jeans felt too tight. You may think there's no way, but you heard me just right. I hated my body, it ruined my night. My friends all had fun, but my jeans felt too tight. I deleted the photos because of how my arms looked. Just an ounce of self-hatred was all that it took. Not as small as they are in my made-up rule book. I deleted the photos because of how my arms looked. My best friend, she married her soulmate last year. I stood by her side, wanted to disappear, because my dress got tighter as her wedding neared. I made her day about me in my head last year. And now I see photos of when my jeans felt small, and I wish for the body I had then after all, because the only thing ever too big or too tall is the standard I set for myself to be small. It wasn't from my body where my worth ever stemmed. If it was, well, I wouldn't miss how I looked then. It's just a dysmorphic state of ill intent, hating my body like it's some kind of trend. I looked at old photos and missed who I was, and wondered which photos were missing because my brain doesn't stop with this thing that it does. So I hate who I am.
Don't read romance books because you're setting your standards too high. Don't read romance books, those men aren't real. This is my favorite passage in the entire book and probably one of my favorite quotes I've ever read in a romance book. The love story sold us the wrong thing. The best kind of love doesn't happen on moonlit walks and romantic vacations. It happens in between the folds of everyday life. It's not grand gestures that show how you feel. It's all the little secret things you do to make her life better that you never tell her about. Taking the end piece of the bread at breakfast so she can have the last middle piece for her sandwich when you pack her lunch. Making sure her car always has gas so she never has to stop at the pump. Telling her you're not cold and to take your jacket when you are in fact very, very cold. It's watching TV on a rainy Sunday while you're doing laundry and turning off her light when she's fallen asleep reading. Sharing pizza crusts and laughing about something the kids did and taking care of each other when you're sick. It isn't glamorous, it isn't all butterflies and stars in your eyes. It's real. This is the kind of love that forever is made of. Because if it's this good when life is draining and mundane and hard, think of how wonderful it'll be when the love songs are playing and the moon is out. I was grateful that the life I'd been forced into taught me this, because nothing and nobody else could ever compare. With anyone else, it's just folding socks on a sofa. Like, it doesn't have to be some like elaborate romantic thing to show someone you care. Like, it's the little things. It's to be known is to be seen, and to be seen is to be loved. Like, I love that quote wholeheartedly. Abby Jimenez, I love you.
When you've been disrespected, how do you deal with that?
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it back. What have you done to let people think that they can do that to you? That's the first thing I'm going to say. What standards have you created, or what things have you set up to let people think, I don't have to deliver on time, I can't be disrespectful, I can't show up late for work? That's the first thing I'm going to say.
So I would hazard a guess that I in the past set a standard for this.
Right.
Or in some way that I showed up in the past.
That's the first thing I'm going to do. What is there something I have done to create an environment where a person thinks that it is okay to do these things? That's first.
Why do you go to I?
Because I'm the one who sets the tone. I just interviewed a former chief of station, John Franchi. He's former CIA. And he managed a lot of people and a lot of strong personalities, because you've got officers and all these different people. And he said to me, you know what I learned? He said, it is easier to have boundaries and be a little bit more sturdy and more authoritative in the beginning and then pull back than to be everybody's friend and then try to put those boundaries in place. The latter doesn't work. He's like, you do the first, you let people know what you expect of them, and then you can pull back a little bit. But you always have to toe that line. So that's what I'm going to say first, and he's right. What tone have I set in the environment that I'm working that people think it's okay to do these things? That's one. Now, let's say sometimes I have an outlier. I have a person who does these things. As soon as it happens, you have to address it. What people do is they don't address things, they let it go. It's small, and then it happens again. It's small, then again, and then we become resentful. We become pissed. Why does this person keep doing it? Why don't they self-correct? Again, it goes back to me. Why haven't I addressed it? People are afraid of conflict. Conflict can be done in a great way. You have to think of conflict think of it as like I'm competing. I can speak to you, not raise my voice, not make it ugly, and debate something with you.
Okay, so this is going to be a little bit of tough love, but nobody is going to come save you. Nobody's going to save you. So if you find yourself in like a state of collapse or a state of like waiting to be saved, so I know a lot of women experience this, especially those that had an absent father figure or didn't have the masculine figure present in your life. It can be really common to go into these patterns of wanting to be saved and wanting someone, especially a masculine, a partner, to come in and like be Robin Hood or be like Batman. And this is just your reminder that you have all the power in you to make it happen. You have all the power in you to save yourself, because ultimately you know what you need, and you are like so, I just want to say badass, like you got this, right? So the part of you, and again, it's like, it's not the true you, the part of you that's like ruminating and doesn't believe that she has herself, or he is, it's a frozen part in time that doesn't know the truth. It's not your true self. It's a frozen part in time that doesn't know the truth, that had unmet needs and had an experience that was really traumatizing. And so you get to go back in and grab that part of you, take him or her with you, and save yourself, because you're a badass and you just forgot.
I want to share with you an energy that is contagious. An energy that you can tap into at any given moment and completely transform your life. An energy where anything and everything is possible, okay? This energy is derived from our core beliefs. It is all internal and energetic. You have to visualize it. You have to feel it. You have to see it. You have to cultivate it. And by cultivating it, I mean you have to sit and you have to really embody what it is that you are whenever you obtain whatever vision you have, okay? So as a dietitian and a wellness coach, this is what I help people do. It literally transforms lives. You sit and you visualize what it feels like to be the person that you desire. And most of the time, to be this person, you desire this energy to go and do all of the things that you feel called to do. When we tap into that, something happens to our internal body, to our cells, to the bacteria inside us. You see, this might sound kind of crazy, kind of voodoo-y, but it's actually not. There are scientific studies that show that the way that we talk to ourselves and the way that we perceive and believe impacts the bacteria in our stomach. It impacts our body's hormonal status, specifically around hunger and fullness. When we are stressed out, our gut microbiome changes. When our gut microbiome changes, our mental health changes. They are all interconnected. One does not cause the other. They communicate to each other. Okay? This is important. This is the conscious realization that you need to have when you're trying to change your health and wellness, when you're trying to change your life, because ultimately, we both know you wanting to be healthy isn't really the goal. It's you wanting to connect deeply with yourself and the world around you. That is the goal. And in order to do that, you need to be in physical, mental, and emotional health.
Don't focus on making people like you, because you can do everything right and people may still just not like you. Instead, focus on, how about I'm going to be competent in what I do? When I say I'm going to do something, I follow through. When I say I can do something, I actually can do it. When I say I'm going to be there at 9, I'm there at 8:55. In the U.S. Secret Service, we had a saying, if you're on time, you're late. So I show you that I'm competent. When you see that, are you going to like me for that? Yes, you are.
I'll respect you.
Now, there's warmth. Warmth is the other element here. Warmth is, I show you respect. So instead of me trying to get you to like me, how about I just show you respect?
What does that look like in reality, showing someone respect? Is that, again, the timekeeping?
I'm listening to you. I show up on time. I follow through with what I say I'm going to do. I'm also open and approachable. I'm also non-judgmental. That's a big thing. Everybody's kind of like throwing their weight around. Let me tell you what I think. Let me tell you what I think. Nobody needs to know what you think. It doesn't matter. If you're really trying to build a connection with a person, then build it and let them tell you what they think. Because now I see the world through your lens, not mine.
I think the healthiest way to process anger after, if you're able to acknowledge that you're angry and just go like, okay, I am angry, or I'm about to get angry, or anything along those lines, is the second you acknowledge and you're aware that you're angry, shift towards gratitude. So make it a conscious predisposition that the second you feel anger arising, you switch to gratitude immediately, because the two cannot coexist at the same time.
I want to see what you do when you're tired. Let me see how you push yourself. Come on, man. Get up. Get up again tomorrow. Get up again tomorrow. Get up again tomorrow. The next day.
No one's gonna fucking come to help me. No one's gonna fucking come to help me. It's fucking me against me, period. And so I had to man up. And I said, the first thing I gotta start doing is facing every fucking fear I have.
If you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret.
Life ain't about medals. Ain't about fucking certificates. It ain't about houses, money, cars, fame, all that bullshit. It's about scars. So when you get judged, when everything is said and done with, you won't get judged on your medals.
Study blew my mind. They were talking about the number one thing that contributed to anxious children. And you know what they said? They said it was parents who were rushing all the time.
Yes. I grew up with a mom like that.
Really? Okay.
Hurry up. Hurry up, sweetie. Hurry up. Hurry up. In a kind way. She was very gentle about it, but she always said, hurry up.
Go, go, go.
Go, go, go.
What's the next piano lesson and all the, yeah. So
that's an interesting study.
I know. So I'm trying to be mindful of that myself, of like, okay, slow down. There doesn't always have to be a next box to check. Just be. But that is way easier said than done.
A little nugget here for the married couples. Married couples, there is a real war on the marriage and on the home right now. And a lesson that I have learned over the last little bit is how important it is for married couples, husbands and wives, to turn inward versus outward. What I mean by that is your friends should not take priority over your lover. Social media should not have more power and influence over your connection than your connection. If you guys are at odds with each other, turn into each other. Don't turn away. Don't look for somebody else to fill the love bucket. Turn into each other. One of the most profound things that we will do in companionship is learn to make our companion our best friend, the place that we go, the place that we confide, the place that we learn and nurture and love. Turn in, don't turn out.
You bet your bottom dollar that I was humbled to be today years old and finding out that confidence isn't even a feeling. Oh, you thought confidence was a feeling too and you just didn't feel it? No, baby. No. I listened to the Mel Robbins podcast and I tuned into her episode on confidence because, plot twist, I wasn't feeling confident. After sifting through decades of research, she came to the conclusion that confidence isn't a feeling at all. For those of us who aren't feeling confident, we have it all wrong. She defines confidence as a willingness to try. She walks us through what's called the confidence competence loop. The more willing you are to try something and the more you actively go and try it, the more competent you will be. So having that confidence is literally having the willingness to try something over and over again to gain that competence, to gain that confidence, to gain that competence. It literally blew my fucking mind. Because I'm over here thinking, why don't I have the confidence to pivot in my career? Why don't I have the confidence to put myself out there? Why don't I have the confidence to like wear this top? The thing is, I haven't done it enough. I haven't done the thing enough times to develop the competence that encourages me to come back around because I'm starting to get good at it. She emphasizes the point that everybody starts from zero. The most successful authors started off at 0 books. The most successful podcasters started off at 0 podcasts. Especially in the world of social media, we all started off at 0 followers. So if you're beating yourself up because you don't have the confidence to pursue something, no. Confidence is not something you have, confidence is something that you do. As long as you are willing to try, you will build confidence. Even if it scares the ever-living shit out of you, I promise, you got this.
Behavior that's rewarded is repeated. So just like children, if you have a child and you're trying to get them to do something, you reward the behavior that you're doing and you punish the behavior that you don't want them to do. So it's very similar with us. We're just big kids. We're humans. So any action you do that is positive, reward yourself. Now don't reward yourself with food because that can sometimes create a weird relationship with food. Reward yourself like the bubble baths or like, calling a friend or, even as, silly as it sounded to me the first time Charity brought it up, but it makes a lot of sense, is stickers. Like, it's just being reminded that you're winning, that you're doing good things.
I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but I'm going to need you to listen very closely to what I'm about to say. What is meant for you will never pass you by. And what does pass you by was never meant for you. The sooner you realize how true and powerful this statement is, the easier life gets. I love you.
It took me 10 years to learn this, but I will teach it to you in 1 minute. 1, life waits for nobody. Get up every day and keep pushing through no matter what. 2, make sure you take good care of yourself. If something happens to you, the world will move on and you will fall behind. 3, if you don't work to build your dream life, someone will hire you to build theirs. 4, work in silence. Celebrate in private. People love to ruin things. 5, don't regret your past. Just learn from it and move on. 6, no one cares. Work harder to become better each day. 7, ignore advice from anyone who doesn't live the life you want to live. 8, rule over your emotions. A calm mind can handle any situation. 9, if you find someone better than you, don't hate.
How do you stay motivated? How do I keep my discipline? How do I go to the gym when I don't want to? I always go for a couple weeks or eat clean and then I fall off. How did you do it? I fucking hated being fat. Like, that's simple. You want to know my secret? I fucking hated myself. And people are like, oh, you shouldn't be ashamed. You should be proud of who you are. Fuck that. No. You should not use shame to push you forward forever. But shame is a great catalyst for a self-aware individual. I was not proud of what I was representing. I feel like my physical body did not align with where I wanted to be or where I wanted to go everywhere else in my life. It was out of control. I was embarrassed to go out, to go to the pool. I was embarrassed of what people perceived me as when they saw me and made first impressions. That's the secret. That is why you can't fucking change. That is why you have a hard time going to the gym after 3 weeks, because change is painful. It's uncomfortable. It's unfamiliar. You have to learn all these things. You have to learn about protein, calories, the gym. It's a lot. And the learning curve is fucking steep. But you will not change until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of changing, because they both hurt. I fucking hated the way that I felt. And that is something that drove me to get started. And when I get undisciplined or I get unmotivated, which I'm never motivated, by the way, I just think, damn, I remember what I felt like back then. And that's enough to get my lazy ass off the couch. If that's not enough for you, you're not ready to change. There is no fucking secret. There is no fucking magic. The magic pill is action. Action creates momentum. Action and momentum create confidence. Action, momentum, and confidence over time create discipline, which is what you seek and what you lack. I love you. It isn't easy, but it is simple. Don't overcomplicate it.